The FIFA Under-17 World Cup, surprisingly, is a football tournament much like the World Cup, but for players under the age of 17. Held every 2 years, the Under-17 World Cup is the World Cup with the youngest age bracket, and the first tournament was held in China in 1985. For the first 3 editions of the tournament, it was called the FIFA Under-16 World Championship, before being extended to include Under-17s in 1991. For that reason, and also since they have all retired, this video will begin with the first Under-17 finals in 1991, but I'll mention those first 3 Golden Boot winners at the very end for any HITC Sevens completists out there. These videos tend to be some of my favourite Where Are They Now type videos, since there tends to be a good mix of big names and some more obscure ones, given that there are still so many variables in a young person's career from the age of 16 or 17 onwards. A word of apology, since there may be a lack of images with some of the early inclusions. Without further ado then, here is every Under-17 World Cup Golden Boot winner. Where are they now? Adriano, retired. We begin this video with the Brazilian centre-forward named Adriano, who had an excellent youth career, but it's probably not the Adriano that you're thinking of. Adriano Guerlin da Silva took home the Golden Boot at the 1991 Under-17 World Cup in Italy, despite a disappointing tournament for Brazil, in which they went out at the quarter-final stage. Unlike his namesake, who burst onto the international football scene before a sad demise, Adriano Guerlin da Silva never even burst onto the scene in the senior game. Just 4 goals was enough to earn the frontman the Golden Boot, but he would become a journeyman forward, earning contracts at some big clubs like Botafogo and Sao Paulo, but rarely scoring many goals. Adriano's best seasons came with Atlético Mineiro and Urawa Red Stars in Japan, where he scored 6 and 7 goals respectively, but he retired in 2007, aged only 32. Wilson ORUMA, retired. Naturally, given that we start this video in the early 1990s, the first few players have all hung up their boots. Nigeria are the most successful nation in the history of the Under-17 World Cup, and they won their second title in 1993, with right winger Wilson ORUMA taking home the Golden Boot. His impressive performances in Japan earned him a move to French side Lens, where he won a Ligue 1 title in 1998. ORUMA would spend most of his career in Ligue 1, as well as winning 19 senior caps for Nigeria before retiring from football in 2010. Danny Allsop, retired. A man with a special place in the hearts of Hull City fans, Danny Allsop spent only 2 seasons at the KC Stadium, but his partnership with Big Ben Burgess helped the club win 2 promotions in 2 seasons. Allsop was among the finest Australian youth players of all time, bagging a total of 25 goals in 25 games for Australia's under-17, 20 and 23 sides. He scored 5 goals at the 1995 Under-17 World Cup in Ecuador alongside the likes of Harry Kewell, as Australia were beaten in the quarter-finals by Brazil. Allsop went on to win 3 senior caps for Australia, starring in England, for Notts County and Hull City, before becoming one of the A-League's all-time top scorers with Melbourne Victory, and finally retiring in 2014. David Rodriguez-FRAILE, hedge fund manager. Spain finished in 3rd place at the 1997 Under-17 World Cup in Egypt, with a squad boasting future Real Madrid and Barcelona stars like Iker Casillas and Xavi Hernandez. Their top scorer at the finals, however, thanks primarily to the 4 goals that he scored in a 13-0 thrashing of New Zealand, was David Rodriguez-FRAILE. Unfortunately for David, severe back pain ended a promising youth career at Real Madrid and forced him into an early retirement at the age of 21. He swapped to Los Blancos for Harvard Business School, graduating aged 24 and taking a job at Goldman Sachs. Following success on Wall Street, David founded his own hedge fund in 2011 called Blue Mar Capital. Hopefully, Blue Mar are better at asset management than they are at web design, because this is their website and nothing happens when you click on anything. ISHMAEL ADDO, retired. At the final Under-17 World Cup of the 90s, Brazil made it back-to-back world titles, Australia took them to penalties in the final, and Landon Donovan was named as the tournament's best player. He didn't pick up the Golden Boot, however, which went to ISHMAEL ADDO, who scored a hat-trick against Thailand, a brace against Uruguay, and a goal apiece against Brazil and the USA to take his tally at the finals to 7 goals. ADDO came through the excellent Hearts of Oak youth ranks before spending a few seasons in Israel, but ultimately, the striker once ranked among the best 100 youngsters on earth struggled to kick on in the senior game. He won 9 caps for Ghana, returning to Hearts of Oaks just before he turned 30. Florence Cinema Pongol, retired. The last retired player in this video, I think I'm right in saying, Florence Cinema Pongol, had an incredible 2001 Under-17 World Cup. The Frenchman won both the Golden Boot and the Golden Ball as his goals fired France to their first and only Under-17 World Cup success, with Pongol bagging 9 goals in just 6 games. His inspired form prompted a move to Liverpool, but the young forward could only score 5 goals in 48 Premier League games over the course of 5 seasons in England. He went on to play for the likes of Atletico Madrid and Sporting Club de Portugal, winning a solitary senior cap for France and retiring in the French lower leagues in 2019. Cesc Fabregas, Monaco. The biggest name in this video yet, Cesc Fabregas, is one of only 3 players to win both the Golden Boot and the Golden Ball at an Under-17 World Cup, along with Florent Cinema Pongol of course. Like Pongol, Fabregas' fine form at an Under-17 World Cup prompted a move to the Premier League, but unlike the Frenchman, Fabregas would make his mark at Arsenal. He became the Gunners' captain before returning to Barcelona, winning a hatful of trophies, and then coming back to England to take care of some unfinished business, this time with Chelsea. One of the best passers of a ball of his generation, Fabregas has won 110 caps for Spain, and the 33-year-old now plays his club football for Monaco in Ligue 1. Carlos Vela, Los Angeles FC. Mexico won their first Under-17 World Cup at the 2005 finals in Peru, with a squad boasting many future Mexican internationals like Giovanni Dos Santos and Hector Moreno. It was another future Mexico star, Carlos Vela, who topped the scoring charts with 5 goals. The Guadalajara prospect was in fine form at the tournament in South America, and having had success with Cesc Fabregas, Arsenal also decided to sign Vela in 2005. The gifted forward spent 7 seasons contracted to the Gunners, but he spent most of that time out on loan before making a move to Real Sociedad. Vela was excellent for Sociedad, and he has been in even finer form since a 2018 transfer to LAFC, becoming one of the best players the MLS has ever seen. Macaulay Christantus, Heton. Future senior World Cup winner Toni Kroos won the Golden Ball at the 2007 Under-17 World Cup, but it was Macaulay Christantus with 7 goals who received the Golden Boot. Christantus' goals inspired Nigeria to retain their Under-17 World Cup crown, and the young forward was immediately snapped up by Bundesliga side Hamburg. Christantus only ever played for Hamburg's second team though, before moving on to Las Palmas. The uncapped Nigerian played the best football of his career with Las Palmas in the Segunda Division, scoring 22 goals in 75 games, but it has largely been downhill for him since then. The 29-year-old recently signed for Heton FC from the small town of Samta in Saudi Arabia, who won promotion to Saudi Arabia's top flight last season. Borja Baston, free agent. Alongside the likes of Isco and Alvaro Morata, it was Borja Baston who led Spain and indeed the entire tournament scoring charts at the 2009 Under-17 World Cup. Baston bagged 5 goals as Spain finished in 3rd, and the following year he made his Atletico Madrid debut. Unfortunately for Baston, it would be his only Atletico appearance, spending the next 5 seasons out on loan. Having scored prolifically on loan at Zaragoza and Eibar, Premier League side Swansea City paid £15.5 million to acquire Baston from Atletico in 2016. 4 years on, following just 5 goals in 35 games, Baston was released by the Swans earlier this year. He joined Aston Villa in January, but following just 2 appearances, he was released by the club a few weeks ago. Souleymane Koulibaly, Étoile Sahel. Not many players are as prolific at international youth level as Souleymane Koulibaly, who scored 14 goals in just 9 games for Ivory Coast's Under-17 team. He scored 9 of Ivory Coast's 10 goals at the 2011 Under-17 World Cup, achieving that tally in just 4 games as the nation went out in the first knockout stage. Koulibaly was snapped up by Tottenham Hotspur, but he never got a game for Spurs, and by 2015 he had signed for Peterborough United. The uncapped 25-year-old has had a difficult few years, and is now looking to breathe new life into his career back in Africa with Moroccan outfit Étoile Sahel. Valmir Berisha, Chindia Targovishta. Kelechi Iheanacho won the Golden Ball as Nigeria won yet another Under-17 World Cup in 2013, but the current Leicester City striker's tally of 6 goals was better by one man, or boy, at the finals in the United Arab Emirates. That man, or boy again, was Kosovo-born Swedish youth international Valmir Berisha, whose 7 goals inspired Sweden to a 3rd place finish at the competition. He was subsequently signed by Roma, but never got a game for the Serie A side, followed by difficult stints in the Netherlands and in Norway. Berisha has scored just 4 goals in 70 league games at club level, which isn't a great record for a striker, and the 24-year-old joined Romanian top-flight new boys Chindia Targovishta at the start of the year. Victor Osimhen, Low. Even by Nigeria's standards, the ease with which they won the 2015 Under-17 World Cup was pretty impressive. As the Golden Eagles cruised to their 5th Under-17 World title, Victor Osimhen set a record as the highest scorer at a single Under-17 finals with 10 goals in just 7 games, scoring in every single one of Nigeria's matches and bagging a hat-trick against Australia. Naturally, Europe came calling and Osimhen joined Wolfsburg that same summer. Following no goals in 14 outings for the Germans, Lille were able to sign Osimhen for £3 million this time last year, and that now looks like a really shrewd piece of business. Quick and clinical, the 21-year-old bagged 18 goals in his first season in France, and don't be surprised to see him make a big money move if he can build on an excellent debut campaign next season. Rhian Brewster, Swansea City. England had never done much at the Under-17 World Cup prior to 2017, but there has certainly been a shift in the attitude of English football towards the youth team game in recent years. The England Under-17 squad that travelled to India in 2017 included the likes of Phil Foden and Jadon Sancho, as well as a babyface Liverpool striker named Rhian Brewster. At the finals, Brewster bagged 8 goals, including hat-trick against both the USA and Brazil in the quarter and semi-finals, followed by the opening goal of the final against Spain. Brewster has since made 3 first-team appearances for Liverpool, recently having turned 20, but he's currently on loan at Championship side Swansea. Reunited with Steve Cooper, who was his manager with England's Under-17s at the time of the Under-17 World Cup, Brewster has grown and grown during his brief spell at the Liberty Stadium, scoring 8 goals in 16 games to date. Zonje Hansen, Ajax. Brazil reigned supreme on home soil at the 2019 Under-17 World Cup, but no one could stop Ajax's goal-scoring sensation, Zonje Hansen, from taking home the Golden Boot. The Netherlands were fortunate to get through the group stages in Brazil, but having done so, Hansen really came alive in the knockout stages, finishing the tournament with 6 goals to his name. Aged only 18, Hansen is a really gifted forward who likes to play as a second striker or even as an attacking midfielder, and he's already made 2 first-team appearances for Ajax as the Dutch Giants continue their proud tradition of producing brilliant young football players. That is it for every Under-17 Golden Boot winner, but for the completists out there, the 3 players to win the Golden Boot under an Under-16 format were Marcel Vicek in 1985, Moussa Traoré in 1987, and Fode Camara in 1989. Vicek went on to play for the likes of Bayern Munich and Borussia Mönchengladbach, but never won a cap for Germany. Traoré spent a decade playing in France and won 15 caps for Ivory Coast, and Camara became a prolific scorer in Indonesia and spent 12 years representing Guinea. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button if so, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and obviously feel free to subscribe to HITC Sevens if you don't already.